Welcome to my channel and enjoy this video.
Because it's Zach's cash and wonders what would happen if it was a scam. He asks the person to see him in person since he needs to meet him in person, while he asks him to talk on Messenger. He checks his profile photo and finds out that she is a girl and seems very pretty. He then talks to her and asks why she sells men's shoes. She replies that they belong to his brother, who is off to the army. She decides to meet him tomorrow in person, and Namsu is happy that he is going to meet a pretty girl. The next morning, he tells Zach that he will meet the person, and that he is also good at spotting fake products. Zach thanks him for helping him out, and Namsu thinks he owes him now. Zach wonders if he is getting a deal and keeping his money and observes that there is something fishy. After school, Namsu gets ready and looks perfect today since he prepared a popular guy's secrets. He puts on shoulder pads because girls love broad shoulders. He also uses butt pads because girls can't resist these hips. He looks taller naturally, and with his armor, he is a soldier heading to the battlefield. He thinks the future evolution of man will be aesthetic, and he is close to Neon's throne. He is full of confidence that everyone is staring at him. He has come a long way to meet an angel. Meanwhile, a girl calls him and asks if he is there for the shoes. He really likes her. She says he needs to check the item and asks if they can go to a quiet cafe. Suddenly, two boys surround him and start threatening him. He observes that the girl seems so calm, and they act like they are friends. He was tricked from the start and was mugged. They take him to an abandoned place, and one of them exclaims that his profile pic says he is a wussy. The girl reveals that there was only her picture on Messenger, but she wasn't the one who talked to him. One of the boys grabs $300 from him and says it would have been easier if he had just transferred this. He asks if these are the shoes he is looking for. Namsu is worried about Zach's money, and they are leaving and threaten him not to tell anyone about them. They ask him to count to 100 after they leave, while he is scared about Zach. If he tells him that he got conned and lost his money, he will kill him. He requests them to give him money since it's not his, but they make him fun and start laughing. He tries to scare them and says the money belongs to a boxer and he is a good fighter. The girl feels bad for him and thinks he should go when they let him. They call their leader, Woojin, and ask what they should do. He orders them not to go easy on people and asks Namsu if he looks easy to him. He is scared to see him that he is also a boxer. The next day, he goes to school in very bad shape and tells Zach the whole story about how they stole money from him. He thinks he will have to get hit again by Zach, but is shocked when he doesn't say anything and says he should have gone with him. Namsu is still scared of him, and from his point of view, Zach is angry with him and asks if he is lying. Meanwhile, Yui comes there and asks what they are talking about. Yui hangs around their seats these days, and they always ignore her. Zach asks Namsu if he still has their messenger contact, and he shows them the account. He also tells them it was a girl, but many guys showed up with her. Zach knows the whole story, and Yui interrupts and says that fake phones are worth money and that they will maximize their use until they are reported. Soon, they find their numbers on Craigslist, and Zach plans to use his phone to pretend he is interested in buying them so that he can meet them. Yui suggests he should change his profile picture and text them since if they think they are talking to a pushover like Namsu, and they will come. He clicks Jiho's picture and uploads it on his profile picture. He is sure that if they see that baby's face, they will fall for it 100%. And now, they have to message them as if they are buyers. He messaged them, and they replied immediately and asked him to meet at Giant Station. They also told Namsu they lived near Giant Station and called him there using the same trick. Daniel calls Yui and asks how she knows all this, and she replies that her ex was a scammer, too, so she saw it a lot. She again thanks Zach. Otherwise, Young would still be around her. Zach observes that Mira listens to them and asks Yui if she just watched while her boyfriend did that. She replies that she is scared of him because he is the cool guy at school. On the other side, the scammers again call another guy in the name of Jordan's. The boy looks like a wuss in his profile picture, but when he comes, he is a fat boy with two other muscular boys. He asks them if they don't have the product. He gets angry and says they are some bad dudes who messed with the wrong guy. The boys ask them to leave the money and scram, and they will pay for the trip. They try to resist, but one of them jumps upon him to attack, and they are shocked to see that he is one of the Taekwondo players. Their leader smiles and exclaims he is the strongest among them while the girl watches them being scared. After some time, he beat them well and counted the money, which was a total of $900. He is happy at his achievement and says today is a good day because they have earned a lot. The girl seems scared and hopes someone may help her and get rid of them. On the other side, Zack is ready to meet them and asks his friends to accompany him. Daniel thinks that if they go together, they will surely fight. He plans to meet them at Giant Station at 3, and they will go by metro. Daniel seems scared when Zack asks him to relax and says he can go alone. Daniel is so frightened, but he is happy they think of him as a solid group member. At the same time, Vaxo and Jace go to his garden, and Jace asks him what seeds he planted, and he replies that he brought fruits because they were tasty. Jace asks him what kind of fruit he planted, and he replies that he planted durian, also called the king of fruits. Jace feels sad for him because it's a tropical fruit, and they can't grow in Korea. Meanwhile, he sees Daniel with Zack and others heading toward someplace and asks them where they are going. Daniel tells him the whole story, and Vasco asks if Namsu was badly hurt and says he will also accompany them. They ask Zack's friend to stay there since they don't need them now. Jace thinks he doesn't need to worry about him, and Vasco says they will have to pay for the subway ride. This is how the worrying team of 3 members joined up for Namsu. After some time, they reach the Giant Station, where the girls seem impressed by Daniel, and guess what he doesn't look like from this place. Meanwhile, Zack is staring at him angrily, and it seems he is getting jealous of him. Daniel is scared and finds himself in a sticky situation. After arriving early in this strange neighborhood, they were just killing time in a cafe. He couldn't believe only 3 of them came there, and as time passed, his heart felt like it was shrinking. Zack asks if they should kill those guys, but Vasco says he needs to relax, and he continues to drink milk on their money. Suddenly, he is shocked to see Mira, Yui, and Namsu passing through the cafe. She comes to buy a book, but just helps Yui find them. Zack gets up, wondering why she is there, and goes outside. He asks Mira what she is doing there. She replied that there was a bookstore there and needed a book. She asks if he will go to karaoke with them. Zack agrees immediately and says they will eat together. He says he will buy her food later, and they will eat together, just the 2 of them. Meanwhile, the guys from the cafe appear there and ask Zack to come over to him. He asks him to go into an alley and chat with them. Zack is worried because Mira is watching, and he doesn't want to fight in front of her. He smiles and says they must have misunderstood and may have the wrong guy. The boys look toward the girls and like them, saying that if Wookin sees them, he would be really interested. In the meantime, Woojin appears there with the same girl, and Namsu recognizes him. His boys tell him that Zack and his friends have kept an eye on them, and he recognizes Namsu there. He tells Zack that he is the same boy who stole the money. Suddenly, Woojin jumps upon him and starts hitting him repeatedly. Zack was defenseless, so he couldn't able to dodge him. Soon, he takes him down, and Woojin asks Namsu if he brought his friends to take revenge. They are shocked to see his condition. Mira tries to hit him with a stone, but he dodges it. She asks him why he hit him while he looks toward the girls and thinks he likes them. If his girlfriend Harry wasn't there, he could have fun with them. He turns back and is about to leave, but he asks them not to come back. Mira and Yui tries to wake Zack up, but he is unconscious, and they are about to call the police when he grabs her leg and forbids Mira to report them. She is crying and asks him if he is alright, and asks him to go to the hospital. He calls Namsu and asks how much time they have left in the meeting, and he replies that they have 20 minutes. He exclaims that it's not over, and he didn't get beat up. 20 minutes later, Woojin and his gang are waiting for their next prey, and their next customer is again coming for the shoes. He tells them that the kid they robbed yesterday brought a friend, and he messed him up. In the meantime, Zack reaches there with Daniel and Vasco and calls them dirty thieves. Woojin smiles to see him and asks if he brought some of his friends. He tells his friends that he is the guy he knocked out before. Mira and Yui are also with them, and Woojin asks them why they come back. Vasco comes forward and is about to attack them, but Zack asks him to stop and says he will go first. He calls 3 of them to come to him. Daniel seems scared of the situation because he knows they will fight badly now. One of them says he is funny since he wants all 3 of them at the same time. He is a sneak attacker who attacked the fat boys earlier and asked them how old they were. He tries to attack him, but this time, Zack dodges his attack and hits his face to smash it to the ground. His friends are shocked to see his condition and that he dodges Seungpyo's kick. Vasco and Daniel also seem surprised to see Zack's actions. Vasco asks him to let him beat the next one, but he refuses and calls the next one to come and attack him. This time, the fat boy comes to attack him, thinking if he grabs him, then it's all over for him. He tries to punch him, but Zack dodges his attack, and he is so fast that he isn't able to hit him in his multiple attempts. He assumes that Zack is faster than Woojin, and everyone is shocked to see his movements. Soon, he takes him down, and Woojin is in a state of shock to see this. After knocking him down, he calls the next one to come to him. Woojin wonders who he is. He is an outboxer like him, but he is still hurting from before. His legs are shaking, and he has hit the wall. He assumes that the other two must be useless, and Zack seems worn out. He smiles, thinking he just needs to beat this guy, and the other two will be a piece of cake for him. He has been in a national tournament once, and he can read Zack's movements. But they are shocked when Zack dodges his attack and punches his stomach. Daniel remembers this is the same trick he used on Zack, which knocked him down. Vasco also observes that he learned that move from Daniel. Zack calls Woojin and says the nationals have nothing against him, and that being fast isn't everything. He is happy that he won in front of Mira and recovered his honor. Meanwhile, their friends appear there, and one of them says they can't win against them all now. Zack is tired and doesn't have the strength to fight anymore. Vasco comes forward and asks him to rest, saying he has done enough, while he asks him not to act tough. The men seem to be scared to see his tattoos and think they have heard of him before. Vasco thinks he can beat them all with Daniel's help and asks him to follow him, saying that he will break through. Daniel is shocked and asks what he is doing, and he replies that the boss should come out last and that he is their boss. Suddenly, Jace appears with his gang and asks Vasco to rest. They will take care of this. Woojin is shocked to see the mark on their shirt and remembers they are the freshman monster gang from the east, Burn Knuckles. Soon, Vasco's men beat Woojin's men, and he watches them shockingly. He realizes that they are no match for them, and the person he doesn't care about is the leader of the Burn Knuckles. He asks Jace how he knows they are here, and he replies that they can communicate with telepathy since they are friends. In fact, he secretly installed a tracking app on his phone, but Vasco sees he doesn't need to come all along, and they start their conversation. Suddenly, one of them grabs Vasco from behind, threatens him to call his men, and asks them to stop before he crushes his shoulders. But Vasco grabs his hands from behind and opens up his arms. He then forbids him not to screw around his shoulders and grabs him by his shoulders and drags him in front of him. They are surprised to see his shoulder grabbing technique, and Woojin is also shocked to see that Vasco beat him in strength. He is waiting for the freshmen he called a while ago, but they are nowhere. At the same time, Jahong sits near his bike on an empty street. Some time ago, he passed through the freshmen who were rushing toward Woojin. At present, he has beaten them all, and they are not able to go there. A boy comes to him and asks if he did all this, and Hejung gets up to beat them. The boy asks him not to worry and says they are not there to fight, and those guys bug them every day. He also advises him to quit smoking. If he does this, he will get love soon. He also quit smoking, and they met someone. Hajong listens to them and throws his cigarette. At the same time, Woojin plans to run away from there since he knows that he doesn't stand a chance against them, and the boxer and tattoo guy are too strong. Suddenly, he faces Daniel and thinks he is the coward among them, and he will get through him in an instant. Daniel thinks he can't move because Mira and Yui are behind him. He wonders why they all look so relaxed. Woojin tries to punch him, but he dodges his attack and thinks he needs to stop him because his friends are behind him. He uses his old tricks and tries to punch him, but he misses his attack. This time, he uses another trick and takes one step in and 1 foot forward. He succeeds and punches him with all of his might. He thinks he still hasn't succeeded in doing it perfectly. He then straight punches his face and throws him backward. His boys are shocked to see his condition. Zack thinks he is a boxer, as he expected, while Vasco thinks he has seen that form before. He remembers the store boy doing the same move, and he also knows this, Daniel. According to him, their posture and tendencies are identical. Woojin's girlfriend goes to him, and Vasco advises him to take care of his girl because love is not something to exploit. Jace calls him and asks him to go with them, but he refuses and says he will come by himself. This is how the Craigslist incident came to an end. Far away, Gun watches them sitting in his car. Yui texted him to come, but he was surprised that they solved things independently. He didn't know there were those tiger cubs, and they had a more supporting character, Daniel. He now understands why he ordered him to keep watching for him. Woojin recognizes him and asks if he is Gun, and he saw him from a distance a while ago when he was with other seniors. Gun smiles and says they are in the same family, but he has changed departments and doesn't collect debts now. The next day in school, Zack asks Daniel if he is a boxer and asks him to fight him again. He exclaims, with headgear and gloves, that he won't be able to beat him, and Namsu observes that he wears Woojin's shoes that he stole yesterday and thinks he can't find them for $300 anywhere. Meanwhile, Yui enters the class and asks them to study together for their upcoming test, and Daniel is shocked because he has totally forgotten about the tests. Midterms were fast approaching, and he hadn't cracked a book yet. He currently has 2 bodies, and he doesn't know why or for what reason this new body came to be. He is sure that he is speedy in his new body and can run like the wind. He has the strength of someone who works out and is full of energy. Time in this body has clued him in, and he wonders if this body's brain is great, too. He hopes that his brain can be exceptional like other physical abilities. But it turned out that the brain is no different from the old one, and he tries to learn books but can't remember anything. One day, his mother called him, and she advised him to trust his mom and study hard for his exams. She was calling while working, so she hung up soon. Daniel observed from the conversation that she was currently working at a restaurant. He thinks he has done nothing for her while she is looking out for him, slaving away, and transferring him. He is determined to show good results in the test for his mom. He can study 24 hours per day in 2 bodies, and he planned to take complete advantage of this situation. He decides to study the subjects that require memorization at night because there is always plenty of time at night. He wonders if he should ask a good student to help him with the main subjects. He then decided to do a memorization at night and ask a friend for help during the day. He never expected that the top student in their class was Jahong. The next day, he goes to him and asks if he can help him to study. He agrees, and Jahong starts teaching him, which disturbs other students. The students wonder if they are really talking since they have never heard Jahong talk. The second-ranked student in the class is getting jealous of Daniel and Jahong because they are studying together. He is jealous of Daniel because he had fun, and now he starts studying. He thinks that when Jahong spends all of his time on Daniel, he will take advantage of the time and beat him. After that, Daniel started getting help from Jahong at school, and after school, he also met with Duke and Jiho. He made a plan to study at the library with Duke and Jiho, and when they first entered the academy, everyone started praising Daniel's beauty. Some girls have put a lot of eating stuff for Daniel, but he doesn't touch those items. After the festival, Duke said his class acknowledged him, and his broadcast became more popular. He thanks him and says this is all because of him. He wonders how Duke got so much recognition when he was in a similar state. He thinks he may have blamed discrimination and used it as an excuse just to give up his potential. After a while, Zack stares at everyone furiously because he thinks it would be just him and Mira. So he follows her to the library but gets angry to see everyone there. He asks Mira if they should go elsewhere since it's noisy. Vasco and Jace are also present at the other table, and they are getting disturbed because of them. Jace asks if he should talk to them, but Vasco stops him and asks if their telepathy will work during the test, too. Daniel is tired in the evening because he studied from dawn to dusk in the new body. He will now change bodies and keep studying. He lies to the bed and thinks he doesn't want to read one more letter. He went to sleep with a tired brain, but his other brain was clear when he woke up in another body. His mind is fresh, and it feels like he is starting again in the morning. The brain in his other body feels 100% energized after sleeping. He goes to the store and starts to memorize again. However, he is shocked to see Zoe at the store. She asks him if he isn't bored and shows him the Bangtan boys who are broadcasting. Daniel wonders what she is doing there and does not buy anything. He wonders if another guy is following her. He calls her, asks if she can leave, and asks her if something terrible happens again. She smiles and asks him if he is single, and Daniel thinks she has come there to fight. She observes him studying and asks how he can attend school when he works all night there, and he replies that he is preparing for the JED test. She offers him to study him at this time at night, and Daniel doesn't know what to say to her. She tells him that she is top ranked in math and that she can come to tutor him for 2 to 3 hours each time. She says he can pay him in rice rolls, but Daniel is annoyed by her and thinks he will have to wait till after she leaves for memorization. Like that, he began studying with Zoe at night. Daniel is currently studying 24 hours a day. He is at school from 8 to 4 in the evening, where Jahong helps him in different subjects. The second-ranked student also works very hard to stand first in the class. Jahong gives him extra books and says he doesn't need them now. They are very useful lectures but are very expensive, so he can't afford them. He thanks Jahong as always. The second-ranked student thinks this costly stuff is nothing if he is dumb. After that, he goes to the library from 5 to 7 in the evening, where he studies with Duke. Other students criticize their combo and say it looks like royalty and slave. Daniel is quite familiar with Duke's looks because he also has the same body type. Duke hears their conversation, but he doesn't care about this. After the library, when he changes bodies and starts work at the store, Zoe comes there and teaches him maths. It was hard to concentrate with her because she always asked him different questions about why he is single. At 11, she leaves, asking him to memorize the formulas. When she went home and left him alone, he studied from 11 to 7 in the morning. He thinks he has really wasted so much time so he can take advantage of the late hours. For some reason, it was easier to focus at that time. Finally, the exams have arrived, and the teacher instructs all the students to focus on their papers and review their work. Daniel's hard work pays off because he knows the answer to every question. He saw those questions in the book Jahong gave him and the stuff Duke taught him. It was the first time he felt satisfied with studying. The next day, he had his math test, and he knew he and Zoe had gone over it, but he couldn't remember anything. He is worried and thinks he should have worked harder. He is determined to do better with the next subjects. He nodded off in the exam hall and woke up at home. He thinks he should sleep so that he can wake up in his other body. He accidentally fell asleep on the first day at school, but Zoe woke him up. He opened the book in his other body and saw the formula. He then waited to pass out again, keeping the proper posture. He slept in his fat body and again woke up at school. He was shocked to learn that he now knew the answer because he had read the formula in his other body. He thought of a plan to get a perfect score this way. It was hard for him to fall asleep, but not impossible. After a while, he again asks Jiho to wake him up after 5 minutes. A few days later, when the result is announced, it is revealed that Daniel is the top student in the class. The second-ranked student is more shocked because he never expected him to be at the top. The girls are more impressed by him because he is smart and handsome. Jahong looks happy with his result, but Zach is unhappy because he thinks Daniel is dumb like him. The second-ranked student is crying badly, and when he sees him crying, he feels like he has done something wrong. Zoe comes to him and congratulates him. She thinks about Piggy. She had taught math the whole time. She studied him every night, and Duke also studied hard, even when writing songs. Daniel feels guilty and feels like he has committed a foul. However, he calls his mom and tells her about the result, which makes her very happy. But he is not happy because he thinks he has nothing to be proud of, and he got the first place after cheating. Duke, Zoe, Jahong, and the class rep were all working hard when he was just sitting there. The next morning, Vasco is doing a workout in the park when he sees Daniel running. He has decided to run 30 minutes after work so that he can turn over a new leaf. 10 seconds later, he gets tired and knows he still has a long way to go. After a few days, they decide to go on retreat, and Daniel wears one of Jahong's outfits, which looks very cool. His middle school retreat memories were terrible, but this time, no one knew him. He even got off of work and wants to stay up late and have fun. He thinks his old body can also have a few days of rest. His seat was fixed in middle school, and it was always with the teacher. This time, the situation doesn't change, and he finds a seat next to the teacher. He prepared lots of music for today's trip. His friends call him and ask him to sit next to them, and they save a seat for him. They have saved a seat for him with Zack, and he feels very uncomfortable there. Meanwhile, Jae-hong is placed next to the teacher. They play a game, and this time, Mira is out, and they ask Zack to hit her and pay back for them. He is worried because he doesn't want to hit her and wonders why it is only him. He hits her softly, but others aren't happy with this and abuse him. Daniel is really enjoying the trip and having a lot of fun. On the other side, everyone sits silently on the architecture department bus because of Vasco. There are only males on the bus, so the atmosphere is heavy. Jace tries to break the silence and asks everyone to have a dance party with him. The boys get up and start dancing. Vasco looks toward the other bus beside him, where Lei Jiang, the beauty department's only man, sits with two girls. After that, Zack makes a new record at the punching machine and tries to impress Mira. But he is shocked when Vinjin breaks his record and says he should go and eat something. Zack feels embarrassed in front of Mira and makes a new record on the hammer. He breaks Vin's record and says he is good at hammer strikes. They don't seem to be in a good mood, and it seems like they will fight at any time. Vasco appears there and asks Daniel to do that punch challenge. A moment later, they are shocked to see that Vasco broke the hammer game and Daniel ripped the punching bag. After some time, they go to the restroom, where a boy calls himself a rapper. Vin claims he is also a rapper, and they ask each other about their ages. They are of the same age, and ask them if they have never heard of the four kings of MT. Dobong. They warn each other not to show their faces again and leave. After that, they come back to the retreat center, and the instructors order every student to gather in front of them. The students like one of the instructors since he is hot, and the other one is fat, like Duke. The boy exclaims that the instructors can be angels or devils, depending on how they behave. The handsome one says they want to search their bags to be safe. Their 3-night and 2-day retreat has begun with this search operation. After that, they find alcohol in Pringles cans and cigarettes in chip bags. Some of them have hidden their phones in their underwear, so they punish them all. The instructor hopes that the guilty parties will not hold a grudge against them. He tells them that J High School is the worst among all the schools present there. His name is Zeus, and the other is Won Bin. The students call him shameless and make fun of his name, and he gets angry because he can hear them. He thinks Zeus is just a part-timer, and he is far beyond him. After that, they instruct the students to put on their gym clothes and assemble. They follow their instructions and play different games, and the architecture department students try to copy them. The instructor doesn't understand their actions, but they also beat other students. Jace and another student go to Vasco and say they should go together. Meanwhile, he observes Ile enjoying himself with girls since he is the only male student in the class. Soon, Shin, the counselor, teaches them the rules of the games. A student asks him what they are learning, and he replies that they are getting them ready for the talent show later. There is also a talent show happening at the bakery department. One of their students has learned this since he was a freshman. The students are dancing in the beauty department. Duke also sings songs in the vocal and dance department, and Daniel really likes his songs. Next up is the practical music department band's concert, and the students comment that they haven't seen a more boring school than J High School. It was time to sleep after the talent show and wrapping up the event. But Du was leading them to somewhere else, and they were shocked to see the girls from the beauty department there. They are surprised to see them, while Du is the only one who is happy. Their main goal is to be friends with Daniel and Zack. Zack gets up and is about to leave, saying he has an appointment. Daniel also gets up and is about to leave. The girls are unhappy because now they have no concern with other guys. Zack told Daniel to come with him, and they go to Mira's room. He asks her to hang out with them and also calls Jiho there. They play a game in which if they put their phone under the bottle, they will get aesthetic lights. Yui asks Daniel to play truth or dare, and Mira says she can't drink during the game. Jiho drinks for the first time in his life and thinks he has to be a strong drinker. First is Zack's turn, and they ask him if there is someone in their class he likes. He is about to take Mira's name, but Zoe interrupts him and asks him to drink a sip. Ultimately, Mira is the only one who doesn't drink a sip. Others are so drunk that Daniel and Zack start fighting. When the counselors open the door, they already all passed out, so they weren't caught. Meanwhile, Du and others got caught while drinking, and they punished all the students. On the other side, Fat Daniel wakes up. and he doesn't remember when he passed out in that body, and Zoe tricked him into drinking again. Since he is awake in another body, he decides to work out. The store owner looks at him from a distance and wonders why he is running when he takes a leave for rest. He looks toward some posts where someone has posted girls' pictures. They had no idea that the female students had hidden cam shots during their enjoyable retreat on the first day. They had no idea what sort of major incident was waiting for them. When they woke up the next morning, someone pranked them by putting markers all over their bodies. Their second day or retreat has begun. Today, they must do recreation rafting. The girls are boating with instructor Zeus, while the other is with some students, but they aren't happy with his company. Mira observes that the instructor is staring at her, and she feels uncomfortable in his presence. After that, they take them to another place, and it is said that the candle represents a personal sacrifice to light up its surroundings. They ask the students to think about people who are candles for them. They have candles in their hands and faces. They will think now about grabbing the candle. They are supposed to meet him tomorrow. Everyone has closed their eyes, and Mira observes that the instructor is still staring at her. The second day's activities flew by, and the student returned to their rooms. Jace and other students play with pillows at the architecture department, but Vasco sits there quietly. Jace asks him to join them in a pillow fight, and he gets up, taking 2 pillows. He hits them so hard that they fall outside the room. At the same time, Mira and Zach go for a walk, and the moment gives them a lot of memories. Jiho and Daniel are sleeping in their rooms, and he is happy because his day went well. The last night of the retreat passed, but it was certainly far from over. In the instructor's room, they call Wonbin for a drink, and he is not happy because they are drinking on duty. He thinks he is the only one certified there, and the others will never get the certificate. He leaves the room, saying he is going to the warehouse. He has Mira's picture on his mobile, and thinks he has to find her. He goes to the warehouse, where he finds Mira with Zeus and asks why they are together. He replies that she was wandering by herself, and instead of punishment, he asked her to help him. He is angry that she is not alone, and Mira thinks she got caught after saying bye to Zach. Zeus asks the other instructor to go and rest, and he will return her to her room. Suddenly, he attacked Zeus from behind and started hitting her by setting over her. Mira was shocked to see his action and thought she needed to help him. Suddenly, she looked toward Wonbin's phone, where she was shocked to see her photo. She pushed him behind and helped Zeus get up. He then started hitting Wonbin and said he always respected him but was jealous of him. Mira asks him to stop and report him because he has a picture of him. Zeus thanks her and says he could have gotten ugly without her. On the other hand, while exercising in his old body, Daniel's boss saw him and dragged him into the store. He wonders why he is working on vacation and will just put this up and leave. His boss asks him to put up a poster of wanted people for him, and he is shocked to see the instructor named Zeus on the wanted list. His real name is Heeman Kim, and he shows his real face to Mira and says he can't take it anymore. He asks Mira if she also likes him. Wonbin had his phone and was trying to save Mira. He accidentally saw his phone and all the candid photos, and he has those evil photos of more than dozens of the kids. He observes him and finds out that he keeps hanging around Mira, and when he sees them lonely, he has no time to alert the cops and attack him by himself. He is supposed to protect the students and do his duty, but Mira misunderstands him. Mira calls someone for help, but Zeus says this warehouse is secluded, and she was the one who flirted with him first. He punches her stomach, makes her injured, and looks at her with evil eyes. As a kid, he always made exceptions because he was pretty. Once, he ate the snacks of a fat boy, but when he complained about him to the teacher, she didn't say a single word, but asked him to lose some weight. He wasn't scolded at all and liked the girls from the start. He touched them, but they didn't say anything. At that moment, he thought they liked him. One day, a senior called him and asked him to go on vacation with them. After that, she confessed her feelings for him and said she would break up with her boyfriend because of him. He was more confident that the girls liked him and they would do anything for him. At present, he tells Mira that he stole his brother's job, and now he has to leave this place because he has no good intentions for Mira. Wonbin gets up because Mira is in danger and runs to hit him. But Zeus kicks him and also hits his head with his knee. Mira is so scared that she starts crying and thinks she needs to hide somewhere. Won Bin gets unconscious, and Zeus says there is no use in crying, and he doesn't have much time. Won Bin acts on time and uses his whistle to make a large sound. Zeus turns toward him and starts hitting him again and again. On the other hand, Zack is informed that Mira didn't return to her room and finds it strange because she told him that she was going to bed. Yui offers him a drink, but he leaves them and says he will come tomorrow. Meanwhile, Fat Daniel calls Zoe and says he is talking from the store. She asks him how he got her number, and he replies that he got it from Smart Daniel. He asked her for a favor and told her to wake Smart Daniel up. Daniel returned to his new body and thanked her for waking him up. He couldn't report this situation from the store, and he had to report it as an eyewitness. He called the police, and they told him that they would take 30 minutes to come because they were in the mountains. Suddenly, he sees Zack there, and he sees his expressions are weird. He looks toward a side, and Zoe tells him there has been no sign of Mira for some time, and that Zack is worried for her. On the other hand, Zeus beats Won Bin badly, and Mira cries in the corner. He then turns toward her and says there is no distraction now since only two of them are there. He asks her to get undressed, but she requests him to let her go, and she won't report him. He jumps upon her and hits her, saying she flirted with her first. He then apologizes to her for hitting them and tries to take off her clothes. She tries to resist and shouts loudly when Zack suddenly appears there. His expressions are so aggressive that he will kill him. He jumps toward him, and Zeus gets up to defend himself, but he observes that his posture remains intact when he springs up. Zack has already seen from his posture that he is a fighter. He tries to hit him, but Zeus dodges his attack and says he uses a low kick, which scares him. As boxers load their weight on their front foot, a low kick does a lot of damage, and he can see two tenacious, clammy fists coming to him. He then grabs Zack by his head and uses the technique he used earlier on Won Bin. Zack has no space to fight from this position and will need to use dirty boxing. He tries to use different skills to free himself, but he doesn't leave his neck, and thus he has no opening to attack him. Zack thinks he has to release his grip, but he is only guaranteeing his face, so he attacks his stomach. He hits him so hard that he can feel his ribs have broken. Next, he attacks his face, and Mira just cries from her place. She can't get up because of an injury to her legs and hopes that someone will come there for their help. At the same time, everyone is looking for them, and Du says they must be hanging out together. Daniel thinks their search territory is so wide that they can't have enough time to look for them. After a while, Zeus has broken his arms and ribs, yet he still stands. He asks him what he will do now since he is a boxer with two broken arms. Zack can't move a muscle and thinks he must not go down. Zeus says he will end the fight and is about to kick him when Won Bin wakes up and grabs his foot. He has reached there by crawling, and when he puts his guard down, Zack tries to attack him with all his power. He hits his face badly and then uses his left arm to hit him again. He falls to the ground, and Zeus is shocked and asks how he can hit him when his arms are broken. After some time, they find Zack in the warehouse with the cops, and they are shocked to see that he has beaten him badly. Mira tries to stop him, but he is out of his mind and beats him. With two broken arms, Zack's expression was desperation, not anger. After a while, the police arrested them, and no one believed he could do this with that innocent face. They think it may be a false charge on him. But Mira can only see the evil behind his face. Won Bin is also injured and relieved that he saved them. But people make him fun and say he looks like a real criminal. Two students make him fun and say it looks like he is getting arrested, but Zack listens to their conversation and asks them to repeat what they just say. He also asks them to watch their mouth before speaking. He bows before Won Bin and thanks him for today. Mira asks him if he is okay, and he replies that he will get treated and head out. He asks her to stay with the cops. However, he was seriously injured, and he would need 2 months of recovery time. Mira visited him in the hospital and asked why he pretended to be okay when he was hurt. Thankfully, there were no effects, and Mira thanked him repeatedly. On the other side, Zeus, real name Heeman Kim, enters the jail and tells another prisoner that he is there in charge of rape. One of them exclaims that handsome guys are the dirtiest, and he hates guys like him who mess with girls the most. He smiles and asks him if he knows how to handle knives, and his prisoner mate is Gangnam, and he says he has a wife in high school. He threatens Zeus that he will kill him. A few days later, the shop owner appreciated his hard work and gave him his second paycheck. He also gives him some extra to buy something for his parents. He thinks he will surprise his mom with a gift, and she will definitely be thrilled. He planned to visit his mom during the holidays in his old body. He remembers her sleeves were torn, so he will buy some clothes for her. He goes to the store and says he needs some clothes. The sales girls laugh at him and say this is the lady section. He tells them that he wants to buy a gift for his mom, and she says their clothes are a bit expensive. Daniel is surprised since it has been a while since he has felt such a cold greeting. He then goes by bus and asks a girl to move because his seat is next to her, but she stares at him harshly. After experiencing a new reality, he felt how deeply cold his original life was. He returned to his old city, and it hadn't changed at all. He looked toward the street he had walked all his life. He had returned after 2 months, and he felt so nervous. After what had happened to him there, he never wanted to come back. Suddenly, a boy called him from behind and greeted him with a smiling face. He asks him why he left so suddenly, and Daniel thinks he is one of those people who just saw him bullied. He sits with him at a place, and he tells him that Logan was very angry when he transferred. Other innocent kids were careful around him, and he says he was also shocked when he moved to another place. He is continuously on his phone, and Daniel wonders if they certainly weren't close. He observes that the boy is trying to keep him there, and he tells him that he needs to go. Suddenly, his expressions change, and he asks where he is going. Meanwhile, a boy comes there and hits him with a ball. He asks if he is ordering him around, and Daniel remembers they are one of those who bullied him. He met the guys he hated even thinking of seeing. He asks him why he transferred without a word, and the boy from earlier called them there. He is so angry because, after Daniel, he is the one being bullied by them, so he calls them there. Daniel finds out that he kept him there on purpose and called them. He looks at him angrily, thinking it's his fault because he left. Daniel wonders why the weak always bear malice toward other weak ones. They checked his wallet and other things and asked about his clothes. They also steal his things and clothes, and when they check his wallet, there are only $5. He remembers they are those $5 his mom gave him after selling scrapes. He asks them to give him that $5, and he squeezes his hand in anger while doing so. He grabs his shoulder, says he has forgotten everything after a few months, and asks how he dares to talk back to them like that. Daniel thinks his grip doesn't hurt him a bit compared to Vasco. He grabs his hand and pulls him away, saying he gave him something, so they should give his money back. They are shocked to see his strength and wonder if he has been working out before. Now, the other one comes to attack him, and he remembers the trick used by Zach. He grabs his foot and throws him to the ground. They ask him to let him go, and he apologizes to them as well as grabs them. He gazed down at the two guys, and he knew this sounded ridiculous, but he felt the pleasure of getting a look of awe from others. At the same time, he was immersed in that emotion which he had despised. The boy from earlier also texted Logan and asked him to come to the Ally. He then appears there and calls Daniel from behind. He calls him Pikachu and says he now has 2 Pikaki. He smiles and exclaims he has found the runaway now. He calls him and asks him to explain the situation to him. The deeply seated terror that was hiding inside him suddenly rushed out after seeing him. He thinks whenever someone gives food to dogs, and if they ring a bell, then the bell on its own causes an increase in salvation. The same kind of fear he learned from Logan, and he is his bell. He asks him why he ran away or if he hated hanging out with him. Daniel is so scared of him that he can't even make eye contact. Suddenly, the other guy moves and kicks him, and starts beating him because he grabbed his injured arm. Daniel is getting beaten up and thinks his condition hasn't changed a bit. Logan grabs his salary envelopes and asks if he took them to make money. He then threatens the other guy and says if he runs away like him, then he will kill him. He then says to Daniel that he will set him free, but in return, he has to give him his salary. Even Daniel was angry about losing his salary and Mom's $5 bill, but the fact the connection with Logan was fading away made him happy. The girl returns his mother's gift and asks him to take care of it. Daniel left there all alone and thought he hadn't changed a bit. On the other hand, Jiahong's parents call him and say they can't see him again this Thanksgiving. They suggest he take a solo trip and book a ticket to Busan after watching its video. At the same time, Daniel goes to see his mother, but she steps outside during break. The other employees tell him that she always leaves on break. He gets outside and wonders where she has gone. He wants to give her a surprise, so he can't call her. He is thankful that they didn't steal his gift because it's the first gift he bought for her with his salary. They took his salary, but he is still happy that Logan will not tease him again. Suddenly, he sees a woman scolding his mother and forbids her from collecting the scrape. She is collecting this to pay her son's school fees, but that woman forbids her to do so. Daniel is shocked to see that. Later, they go back home, and she is happy that her son is all grown up, so she buys a gift for her. She has made a sumptuous feast for him. She smiles and asks him not to think about money and just study hard. He now feels more guilty about that $5 Logan took away and thinks he shouldn't have let him take it. She asks her if she remembers the guy living with him, and she remembers the guy has the same name as him. He tells her that Smart Daniel is all alone on vacation and asks her if he can stay with them. The same night, when he sleeps, Smart Daniel wakes up and reaches the bus terminal. People are surprised to see him there and wonder if he is a celebrity. He thinks that even if this body is a misunderstanding, he will defend himself even against Vasco. He thinks he will fight Logan with this body and get back his money. He was hiding his true self behind him, and he didn't realize at the time that he was running away. Suddenly, he sees Jahong at the terminal, and he never expected that he would run into him. He asks him where he is going and tells him that he is going to a friend's house in Sanukdo. He asks him where he is going, and he hides his ticket from him and says he is also going to Sanukdo. After that, he calls the same girl from yesterday and asks her to move, and this time, she moves quickly. Jahong is behind his seat, and Daniel thinks he needs to come up with a good reason for sleeping by turns. He goes to his neighborhood with Jahong and is surprised that they have the same destination and even the same bus. But in reality, Jahong tore his original ticket and bought a new one for him. After that, they go to Daniel's house, and his mother informs them that he is sleeping, but she is happy to see them. She is about to wake Fat Daniel up, but he forbids her to do so. Jaehong also came to hang out at his place. His mother apologizes to them and says the place is a mess and she didn't have time to tidy these boxes. Daniel offers her help to clean up the mess. After she sleeps, he tells Jahong that Fat Daniel is his friend and he has come there to help him with his problem. Fat Daniel wakes up when the smart one sleeps and introduces himself to Jahong, saying that he lives with Smart Daniel. He remembers that Daniel told him that he was his precious friend, so he also offered him chewing gum as a gesture of friendship. He behaves nicer than expected, and Fat Daniel tells him the whole story about what happened today. He tells him that his mom gave him those $5 by selling boxes, and it was a lucky charm for him. Jahong remembers his mother being so kind and offering him food. The next morning, Logan receives some money from the freshman students after bullying them. But the amount isn't enough for him, so he slaps one of them. He also has to pay this amount to his seniors, and they ask him to watch the freshmen. They demand $3,000 per month, while Logan asks how he can collect that every month. When he refuses to listen to them, one of the seniors gets up and starts hitting him. He says he went easy on him because they attend the same studio. He throws the same $5 note to him and asks him to fill the envelope with 50s. They leave without giving him 1 week's time, and Logan just watches them leave, hated. On the other hand, Jahong visits one of their branches in that city, where the manager seems confused to see him. He asks him why he didn't come right away yesterday, and he says he could have served him better. He also looked into what he asked him yesterday. He tells him about Logan's data, that he is the same age as him and an infamous bad apple in this area. He is known as a nuisance at school since he always causes trouble and seems to have bullied many kids. There is one other thing about him. He is a jiu-jitsu black belt. At the same time, Logan has beaten up all his seniors badly. He threatens them not to try to take it back unless they want to die. He also returns his money and says he worked hard to earn it. He also asks them to collect on their own, and if he gave them all he stole, then he would be screwed. He also asks them to tell the person who collects the money to see him if he has a complaint. The senior thinks he has no idea how scary that monster is. At the same time, Smart Daniel gets ready to meet Logan Lee. He tells his mother that Fat Daniel is sleeping, so he is going for a walk. But he and his mother are shocked to see a large pile of boxes. She tells him that this morning, people from a nearby hotel left those boxes and asked her to take care of them. On the other side, Jae-hong faces Logan and asks him for money, and he asks him if he is trying to rob him. Logan asks him who sent him or if he has been there alone. Jae-hong sees his black belt shirt and removes his jacket to show off his muscles. Logan thinks he wants his money and asks him to follow him since he wants to see who sent him. Conversely, the seniors call their boss and tell him their money has been stolen. They are embarrassed and think about how they will show their faces at school. They ask their boss to settle this when he gets there this month, but he refuses and says he is not the collector anymore. The man they are calling is actually Gun and says collecting is Goo's responsibility, so he will tell him about this. The girl sits in front of him and asks if he is happy that he doesn't collect now, and the president has him guarding the girl. She corrects him and says he is not guarding her but is observing. She asks him why he didn't go when Yui called for help, and he replies that he went there, but there is no need for him, because the guy president asked him to keep an eye on him, helped Yui. There is also another guy present there who asks if he should go and see Daniel, but Gun refuses and says there is no need for this because the president is watching. He just became interested in him, and he tells the girl that he dislikes this place. At the same time, Daniel is looking for Logan and asks his friends about him. The boy asks why he is looking for him or if he knows him, but Daniel refuses and says he doesn't need to answer him. The boy seems scared of him and says Logan is either at the jiu-jitsu studio or at the construction site with the seniors. Daniel turns back and asks him to drink with him next time. Daniel is somehow nervous and thinks if he can beat Zack and Vasco with THSI body, he can defeat Logan, too. On the other side, Logan and Jae-hong are fighting, and he is taking him over. Jae-hong punches and kicks him alternatively, and Logan observes that his black belt skills won't work on him. Jae-hong is using Systema, and it's his first time to see someone actually using it. He is blocking his tackle and grip, and Logan thinks he must be a tough guy. He then says he is tired of fighting him and asks him to finish this. He still has damage from fighting the seniors, and consecutive fighting has weakened him. He then takes out the envelopes, is about to tear them, and asks if he is just going to stand there even if he does this. Jae-hong thinks money is a lucky charm for Daniel and runs toward him to stop him. Logan smiles and says it's more fun to fight up close, and as soon as he reaches him, he grabs Jae-hong from his head. He smiles and says he has only learned to fight safely, but this isn't a real match. He tries to defend the ground by lowering his center of gravity but slaps his face and says this isn't a real match. He brags about his jiu-jitsu skills, grabs Jae-hong by his neck and kicks his stomach. He asks about the person who sent him, but he doesn't speak to him. Jae-hong tries to resist, and he says he can die if he doesn't give up. Jae-hong's feet start trembling, and he is about to give up when Daniel appears there and rushes toward Logan. He is shocked to see Jae-hong fighting with Logan and wonders what he should do now. He doesn't know why, but he just blindly rushed ahead. Logan is irritated to see him and wonders who he is at this time. He observes he is this guy's friend, so he pushes Jae-hong aside and tries to dodge Daniel's attack. He is about to grab his face, but Daniel thinks he can't get grabbed and dodges his attack in just a moment. Logan is shocked that he easily blocked his attack when even that blonde guy barely dodged it. He wonders where they have come from and why they want to fight him. He comes to Daniel and asks who he is, or if he is his friend, and who sent them to as soon as he met his eyes. All of his promised resolute determination in those fears stamped in his mind. Logan looks at him angrily and says it's his turn now, while Daniel seems scared to see him. He thinks he should fight him, but if he hits him, then it will hurt. Many voices resonate in his head, and Logan asks him to get out of there before he changes his mind. In fact, he thinks this guy doesn't look pushover, but his energy is at rock bottom. He asks him to take his friend and leave it, and he will remember his face. Daniel is still in shock and wonders if he will again go just like that. He doesn't fight him and thinks he could have already spent $5 and that he would do better for mom. He puts Jae-hong on his shoulders and gets into corniness after a while. He asks him why he is fighting with that guy and tells him that the guy is a famous gangster. Suddenly, Jae-hong shows him the $5 Logan stole from him. He is shocked to see his money and asks him how he found it. He is ashamed that he took it back from Logan instead of him. He thinks he is still pathetic even after changing his body. He cries loudly, thinking he has just changed his shell but is still a coward. Jahong jumps from him, and Daniel says he didn't cry because he was heavy. The next day, he goes to the shop with his mom because the dress he bought for his mom is stained. But the salesgirl refuses to take it, saying they can't exchange it because of the stain. Daniel says the stain was there when he bought it, and they exchanged the same dress for another lady. The salesgirl talks to them rudely and says they are trying to cheat them. His mother apologizes to them and says she can wear it with stains. She has come with him to tidy up his room. The salesgirl makes their fun and says they have seen this case so many times before. Suddenly, Jahong appears there with the shop owner, and Daniel is shocked to see him. The owner scolds the staff and asks why they make fun when someone is important there. Daniel goes to him and asks what he is doing there, and they are shocked to see that they know each other. Because of him, they exchanged his shirt, and Daniel thought this might have happened because he had worked at this department store for a while. All the staff apologize to Daniel's mother and are ready to give her their VVIP membership. After that, he sees Vasco and asks how he can help him. Daniel has come there to change himself, not his shell. He realized that he was just a runaway after he met Logan Lee, and he didn't know that his connection with Logan was not about to be severed. On the other hand, Logan tries to find them again in the whole area, but can't find them. Meanwhile, his friend informs him that their Pikachu has come, and they ask him to crawl for 30 seconds. Today, another one of Pavlon's dogs was born somewhere. Conversely, Vasco is ready to change his appearance and take him for a walk. Running with him has started, but keeping up is a killer. It has been a few days he has been training with Vasco, and he appreciates him for his stamina. He asks him if just running like this cuts it, or if he should be doing martial arts. He replies that there are no shortcuts, and effort will not betray him. He asks him to give it his all, and his body will not betray his effort. He can't change his body without effort, but Daniel can't tell him that he woke up one day with a perfect body. He asks Vasco if he works out every day and replies that he does 1 push-up, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run. Meanwhile, Jace appears there and wishes them the morning, and he tells Daniel that he joins them sometimes. He is surprised to see that Daniel is still stuck with Vasco and asks him if he is still doing it. He is jealous of him because he steals all of Vasco's time and gives him chocolate milk. However, he thinks he will give it up soon, so it shouldn't bother him. On the other side, the teacher calls Zach to answer the question at school while he raises both hands with bandages. He just has come there to fill his attendance. He has gotten better than before. Mira takes care of him and feeds him the food since he can't eat alone. He looks pretty happy in her presence while other students are getting annoyed. Meanwhile, Vasco comes to Daniel and offers him the chocolate milk. He seems surprised when Vasco says he found it on the street, but Jace is jealous because he also gives him the chocolate milk. Jay also enters the cafe and sees this. Vasco's friend also appears there and asks him to come with them to play something. Zoe comes to Daniel and asks if she can feed him like Mira and Zach, but he wonders what kind of club the Burn Knuckles are. On the surface, they look like slackers, and he thinks about asking Vasco about this when he gets closer. In the meantime, Jahong appears there and offers him 2 milk chocolates, and he takes them by thanking him. On his way back home, he finds Woom dragging a wagon, so he comes to help him. But he is shocked to see that he takes the wagon with a little force. The same evening, when the group is playing, their ball is stuck in a tree, and Jace thinks it is very difficult for them to take it down. Meanwhile, Daniel appears there, kicks the tree, and takes the ball down. He came there for help, and they were surprised that he brought back the ball in 1 shot. The more he saw them, the less bad they seemed. He guessed it was he who judged a book by its cover. Jace thinks about him continuously, thinks he is very strong, and is impressed by him because he does good deeds a lot. He thinks Daniel is not as bad as he thought. Meanwhile, Fat Daniel calls him and asks what he thinks, but he doesn't reply. He looks toward Vasco while working out and wishes he had a body like that. Daniel also likes him and thinks he is so cool, and Jace thinks he seems to have made up his mind to do it seriously. He wonders why Vasco is looking after him, And Jace thinks Daniel doesn't have any idea that the current Vasco was Yoontae Lee from back then. When they were young, they hung out together daily and played superhero games. Jace became the superhero, and Vasco became the villain. He always had to follow his lead. Once, he asks him if it is wrong if a hero man doesn't help others and why he fights for others. Jace always thought he had a unique personality and was his only friend, so his mom always bought them snacks. After that, they got admitted to the same class, and he asked him if he played phone games. The decision to play phone games, and even after starting middle school, Yoontae didn't change. One day, some boys made Jace fun and called his big ears. They ask him to go to the snack shop with them, and Jace asks Yoontae to accompany them. He asks him to buy chocolate milk for him. They brag about one of them and say he passed level 100 of Maple Story. Yoontae interrupts them and says Jace is a hero man in the game, and they ask them which school they are from. Meanwhile, their senior enters there, and they are asked to say hello to the scariest senior. His friend calls the freshman and asks if they have cigarettes, and they are shocked when a junior takes out cigarettes. They had those things because they wanted to get close to the seniors. They asked Jace to come with them, but he refused and said he never smoked. But he wants to accompany them and says he wants to smoke with them. Yoontae calls him and forbids him to go, and his mom says smoking is bad. He also said that smokers are losers, and everyone, including the seniors, is shocked to see him. One of them asks him about who he is, and he slaps his face, calling him arrogant. They are more shocked when Yoontae doesn't move after being hit. They ask him for an apology because he was rude to his seniors, but he slaps him again when he doesn't reply. At that moment, when he met with Yoontae's eyes, Jace looked away out of fear. Their leader comes to him and says he embarrassed him in front of everyone. Yoontae got on the bad side of him, and he asked him to spend some time with him today. After that, he beats him every day. The students are shocked to see that he hits him badly with every passing day. From then on, Yoontae was dragged out every day, and Jace was shocked to see his condition because there was blood on his clothes. He calls him and says he must be having a hard time because of those guys, but he replies that he is fine. Jace is surprised, thinks he is a special guy, and seems okay after being hit badly. He didn't have to feel guilty because when he was with him, he was in danger too. That day, the guilt he felt from doing nothing disappeared. One day, he asks him to go to the snack shop with him, but Jace refuses and says he plans to go with the other kids. Yoontae sat in his class lonely, and he slowly started pushing him away. One day, when he was going to his class, he saw in a hidden corner of the school that Yoontae was crying alone. He had been struggling by himself and pretended to be okay, and it was the first time he had seen him cry. But he ignored him again and ran away from there out of seniors' fear. One day, he stopped coming to school, and Jace thought something bad must have happened to him because he was not the type to run away. However, he thinks it's for the best because his life had been hell there. After a while, his classmate came to him, and the senior sent him to bring him because his friend was absent. He is shocked when he finds that the place is used to bully students. They call Jace and say they won't hit him if he listens to them. Their leader, Hoon, is also there, and Jace finds him so scary. He asks Jace if he knows why he called him there, but he is so scared that he can't say anything. Meanwhile, the senior hits one guy, asks why he put his foot on the ground, and starts beating him. Hoon stares at him and asks if he wants the same punishment as him. Jace is hell scared and thinks he is going to suffer like that. After that, he draws with his face marker and puts it in his face forcefully. He says his friend is absent for 2 days and asks him to bring him there by tomorrow. He also threatens him, saying if he doesn't bring him, then he will be handing out with him instead of him. After school, he goes to Yoontae's home, where they used to hang out when they were young. He met the guy who was bullied there, and he said he had been bullied like Yoontae over some splattered spit. He tells Jace that his friend gets beaten daily but never makes a sound. Jace is shocked and feels both pride for Yoontae and shame for himself simultaneously. He just thought he would handle it better than him. However, he goes home, and his mother tells him that Yoontae is in his room, and he wonders, after standing at his door, what he would tell him. He was making up fake kindness just for his sake and entered his room. He asks him if he is okay, and Yoontae asks why he is there. He smiles and says he came to see him when he didn't come to school. He sees blood-smeared tissues there, and he observes that he must have been beaten up. He says there is a lot of homework, and they haven't hung out in ages. Yoontae says he will come to school soon and has been sick for a few days. Jace observes that his face is red and must have a fever. He grabs a pen and notebook and says he will show him some notes. But as soon as he sees the pen, he reacts and asks him to get rid of it. He asks him what is wrong with him, and Jace can see he is trembling out of fear. He remembers that Hoon had a marker in his hand, and the tissues show he had a nosebleed. He jumps upon him, and what he sees on Yoontae's body isn't acceptable. He has put a lot of bad words on his body. Jace is shocked to see those irreparable carved brandings. Yoontae says it's not a big deal for him, but his fever had arisen from his injury, not from a cold. He starts crying and says he should have apologized and get rid of them, but he doesn't reply. He then says if he cowers, suffers, and cries out, they feel superior and bullied to show off in front of others. If he does as they want him to do, then this means he is losing, but he doesn't want to lose. Jace is surprised that he was fighting in his own way, and he says all handsome guys are bad. The next day,
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more.